the Zen Brain Podcast,
where we explore alternatives to psychiatric medication and strategies for conscious lifestyle change. Here's your host and philosophical entertainer, Michael Pierce.
Welcome back to the Zen Brain Podcast. Today we're going to talk about Qigong. Qigong is a potent system of healing and energy medicine that comes out of China. It's the art and science of utilizing breathing methods, gentle movement, and meditation to clean, fortify, and circulate life energy. The practice leads to improved health and vitality and a tranquil frame of mind. Because it's both dynamic and gentle, it can be practiced standing up or sitting down or in supine postures. It's suitable for both young people as well as old folks. Practices may be tailored to the individual needs, making it an ideal aid to heal yourself from illness or injury. It's also sort of a complementary medicine and works well with additional forms of therapy. So the first sound in Qigong represents the life force of vital energy that flows through all things, and the second sound represents the cultivation of that energy. This system is practiced to create a complete and balanced health-maintaining body system, healing ability, and increasing the vitality of an individual, sometimes looked upon or referred to as an art form for martial arts movements, medical processes, or simply as a spiritual art form. All of these areas consist of basic similarities like posture, which may be classified as moving or stationary, breathing techniques, and mental focus. The soft Qigong style of this art form can be adopted for use by almost any age group. It's however more popular with the older generation simply because of the non-vigorous style it portrays in its use. And the idea is to increase the Qi levels circulated well through the body of the individual for the cleansing and healing purposes. Most of the standard movements are quite easy to follow and can be achieved through a committed sense of practice. Most exercises don't involve the meridian system and also don't emphasize on the breathing techniques that are utmost importance, but Qigong does definitely focus on that. This is because in order for the individual to gain the complete essence of the Qigong, the breathing techniques play a vital role when coupled with the movements that are required. The general benefits of taking up Qigong is the gentle rhythmic movements help to reduce stress, build stamina, increase vitality, and build up the immune system to stay at optimal levels as much as possible. Most people who have taken up this art form attest the fact that they have gained a certain level of vitality and a new lease on life. So let's talk about some of the positive effects that Qigong has on the mind, the body, and the spirit. The ultimate goal of practicing Qigong should be with the intention of achieving a state of well-being where the body is strong, healthy, vital, and well-balanced. As for the mind, achieving the state of increased energy, sharpness, and a sense of general relaxed and calmness within oneself and your surroundings. All this will contribute to the strength of the immune system, which in turn will help to keep the negativities away from our life. Some of the advantages, if one is impatient for fast results or perfect health, then this is really not a good way to go, as Qigong is really about strengthening the whole body system by addressing the details of the underlying cause of illness and by treating the specifics involved at the root levels. All this is done without any medicinal side effects, Some of the expected outcomes supported by the practice of Qigong on a regular basis include: it limits the buildup of stress. It decreases the possibility of experiencing fatigue, anxiety, and frustration. It enhances self-confidence. It allows for positive personal growth. It prevents illness and reduces the levels of chronic pain. It improves our immune system. It allows for better control of our physical and emotional distress, heightened levels of awareness and concentration. It's an energizer in both athletically and intellectually, helps you get better sleep, and generally a better zest for life. Now, a lot of scientific research has been done on the merits of practicing Qigong, and it has been favorably noted as the most holistic approach to the complete well-being on the practicing individual. Deceptively easy looking is not an advantage because once learned, it really is easy to follow. The basic elements of moving the Qi energy is what makes this different from most other exercise rituals. The benefit to the circulatory system and the gentle relaxing the joints and tendons while connecting spiritually is where the success of this technique lies. So there are some techniques that actually can give you an immediate kind of energy boost. Most people who decide to take up Qigong do so with the intention of either restoring their health to its optimal level or to ensure the continuity of good, healthy conditions. So, boosting it yourself. Most practitioners attest to the fact that they are able to experience very fast connections with their energy source and draw from it successfully. These movements exercised in Qigong utilize the body, mind, and spirit to develop the vital energy which increases the health and longevity while also raising the consciousness of the spirit. This connection is very important for the energy source to be able to envelope the complete being. In order to be able to harness this energy, the breathing techniques are used alongside the total concentration while engaging the body in the various set of physical movements. This then brings the body's defense systems through this energy to its optimal levels to allow the body to defend itself against the environment. Depending on the energy levels reached, some people attest to the fact that as the physical body becomes stronger, so does the mental state of the individual, and thus further enabling a higher level of brain power to be used. Technically, there are three types of energies that Qigong practices release. There's the essence energy, which is Jing. Then there's the vital energy, which is Qi. And lastly, there is the spiritual energy, which is Shen. These energies are harnessed through the use of shapes and postures with the intention of creating an ideal balance between all the energies so that optimal physical and mental health can be achieved. In doing Qigong regularly and under the guidance of an experienced teacher, the individual is taught how to connect, build, circulate, and direct the individual energy. The blockages of energy caused by various reasons like physical trauma, mental trauma, spiritual trauma, toxins, or stress is where the energy is throughout the body that is trapped. These blockages can then be removed successfully with Qigong techniques. Using Qigong to manage stress is one of the reasons that people will practice. While most stress management styles call for the quieting of the body and mind by either seeking a quiet place or sitting still or by listening to binaural beats or psychedelic sessions, inducing music creates an ideal environment to encourage meditation. And Qigong works in quite different ways, actually. The technique doesn't require the individual to be in any kind of meditative state. Rather, it requires the individual to perform certain sets of movement patterns. They're basic meditational effects of breathing that are coupled with the different movements, which encourages constant inhaling and exhaling. The technique of coupling breathing and movement is what gives the individual the necessary mindset and physical calmness to manage the stress levels well. The sessions normally encourage the individuals to practice a few basic movements to prepare the person. The first few steps include the breathing and the meditation exercises to correct the body posture and to relax the muscle tension. The breathing will then encourage the flow of qi through the body, and doing this the blockages will dissolve. This will then create the circumstances for the body to be able to control and calm the mind, at the same time reducing the production and flow of thoughts. Practicing this control technique will eventually calm the activity of the mind and thus reduce the stress factor. These movements and breathing exercises also stimulate the respiratory system, revitalize the metabolic rate, let me say it again, the metabolic rate, and invigorate the blood flow conditions. All these contribute one way or another to the body's well-being, and when the body is good, so will the mind be. The body will not cause the mind to be unduly stressed over its condition, which is a bonus when the mind has to deal with extenuating external factors. This Qigong will also restore your physical vitality. This art form consists of the physical movements, meditations, and creative visualizations and breathing exercises, which contributes to the cultivation of vital life force energy. This in turn ensures better health conditions, heightened energy levels, and longevity. There's a power within, and some studies have shown that even short-term practice of Qigong has shown positive results. But of course, when embarking on something that is going to bring the body to its best condition, it should be taken as a long-term endeavor. Basically, the individual is encouraged to explore the different facets of this art form, which include energy boost, restoring of physical vitality, balancing the emotions, and calming the spirit. Ideally, when this level is reached in every session, the ultimate goal of physical vitality is also gained. True vitality comes from within the natural workings of a healthy body system. Though resorting to outside supplements is also a possible way to go, if the body condition is not receptive, then any attempts to create vitality is completely wasted. Therefore, addressing the holistic mind and the body and the spirit, that will help you get what's needed to understand Qigong. Qigong teaches the individual how to work with Qi energy through the meridians of the body to unblock whatever is in the way so that the positive energy can flow freely and in a balanced fashion. This energy also causes the blood flow to improve, and with this, all of the different connective organs are able to function well. The Qi energy derived from Qigong techniques also loosens up the joints, tones up the oxygenated muscles, and relaxes the nervous system. All of these factors, in one way or another, increases the physical vitality of an individual progressively and assuredly. An optimum positive health condition leaves the individual with peace of mind to concentrate on enjoying life fully and satisfactorily. This new lease of vitality also enables the individual to look forward to the longevity elements promised in the practice of Qigong. Another major benefit is the balancing and healing of emotions. When it comes to balancing the health system of an individual by addressing the root cause of ailments, Qigong is a wise choice to put into practice. The physical, emotional, and spiritual elements are definitely addressed holistically in the quest to reach optimal health standards. All this is done through the smooth and precise distribution of the Qi energy found in all living entities. So as this system supports the balancing of energy imbalances, the body is then able to start the restoration and healing process of optimal functioning internal organs and systems. It's interesting to note that the emotions elements are not necessarily stored in the brain, but can be found stored in various organs of the body. For instance, the liver stores anger, the kidneys hold fear, the spleen holds worry, and the lungs hold grief and sadness, and repressed emotions are in the heart. In the most ancient art forms, emotions are not considered good or bad. The problem is how to handle these emotions without causing the buildup of any negative elements within the mind, body, and spirit. Qigong teaches us how to ensure this negative energy does not cause any blockages or toxic buildup in the body. So here are a few possible steps to emotional healing, the Qigong way. Relax and focus on breathing deeply for a few minutes before commencing the routine movements that I'll lay out. Slowly bring the attention focus to the chest and lungs by using the senses to fully feel the internal system and networks of the body. Upon achieving this phase, commence the slow-moving Qigong exercises while still maintaining this frame of body and mind. Sometimes the individuals are encouraged to focus on different but specific emotions with each practiced breathing and corresponding movement. Once seasoned in these techniques, the individual is then encouraged to explore further positive emotions. Bringing your spirit to a calm place and integrating the work of the body, mind, and creative spirit is what Qigong is all about. Bringing harmony to each of these areas will promote holistic wellness within and around an individual practice. So the use of Qigong in the individual's lifestyle is to promote a meditative state of movements that involve the conscious mind memorizing a set of intended movements while concentrating on connecting with the inner body. The subconscious mind is also made acutely aware of the intuitive state, creative motions, and interactions. This intended structure of movements should bring about the harmonizing of the body, mind, and spirit to induce calmness from within. Learning and practicing these techniques will enable the individual to seek solace in this calm state at any given time. The experienced teachers and practitioners of Qigong believe in the process of guided imagery, body awareness, and creative expression to bring about joy and wonder. This creates a dialogue between the elements from a deep place, which can be achieved with the calmness of mind set previously mentioned. Qigong helps to eliminate the excess energy or negative energy and aggression in a positive way. It also allows the noise or the busy mind condition to be controlled or reduced to a level where calmness can be achieved. These changes stimulate the hormonal and neurochemical systems in a most therapeutic way, while it lulls the body and mind into a state of calmness. Besides teaching breathing coupled with slow-moving exercise, Qigong also encourages the self-observation of feelings and how to let go of those feelings during the session, thus effectively teaching the individuals how to gently get rid of stress and replace it with calmness. The slow-moving routine is all about letting go and leaving it be. So if you want to practice Qigong effectively, then there needs to be addressed a practice that's done with care. The initial excitement of wanting to do Qigong and the idealistic connotations tagged to it may create an over-enthusiastic individual who fails to take the time to understand that the fundamentals of Qigong. There are real risks involved if the individual doesn't achieve the required state of meditation before the session begins. So as a main goal of practice with Qigong is to strive to produce a state of harmony and stability that embraces the spirit, mind, and body. Thus, keeping the mind in a peaceful and relaxed state is critically important. So some suggestions as to the initial levels the focus should be upon. In a sitting or standing position, try to find the center line, meaning the head and the spine should be in line. Then move the arms very gently overhead, back and forth, without disturbing the previously achieved rooted position. All this while striving to stay calm and relaxed. The more acute the state of relaxation, the better the results of the exercise are going to be. Strange as it may sound, try to focus on one single thought. In Qigong, the eyes are encouraged to follow the mind's train of thought. In doing this, it's hoped that the pattern of the eyes leading the thoughts, while the thoughts build the mind, will be formed, bringing light to the mind. Keeping the head positioned in line with the spine while attempting to do some of the set of movements is crucial to helping the Qi elements flow well. So calm the mind by eliminating unbalanced and irrelevant thought patterns. Find the middle balance of the Qi. Draw the positive energies emitted during the Qigong movements. And of course, sound is great when accompanying Qigong. And as you probably all know, sound is something that I'm super into, and that's why I created psychedelic sessions. Sound is a fairly new element being associated with healing process, especially integration. It's a known and accepted fact that sounds affect people in many different ways. There are some sounds that are considered relaxing, some annoying, and some simply termed as rubbish. All these different sounds have at some point or another been researched as having certain impacts on the body, mind, as an individual. And just as a side note, healing music might have tension built into it to pull out, more frustration. So be open to your sound healing, because what the sound is doing in your body is what's really important. So some other things that help. It should be not be surprising to note that Qigong also has its own purported sounds that have induced elements. Claimed to be 100% safe and effective, these sounds don't have the origins that like it to electronics. They're not downloaded or made into put on a hard drive. They're self-created. They're also referred to as the 8 healing sounds of yin-style bagu. These sounds that are self-made are supposed to be complete the health and well-being of the particular body organ, which is being the focus of the attention at the time of the session. Qigong is one of the ancient art forms that combines sound and vibration from the sounds made, breathing, and visualizations to help the body and mind and spirit. Using the same principles to address all the other areas in the body systems, the individual is encouraged to pick a syllable or a sound comfortably made and continue to vocalize that particular sound continuously. Of course, during the duration in creating a said sound, various distinctions and differences can be heard due to the lung capacity and vocal cords of the individual. The emotional state also has a role to play in these sound producing styles. All these variables, which are caused by several connecting factors, are beneficial and healing only for the individual making the sounds and not for those around. That is one of the reasons that insistence of total concentration is encouraged. All right, so some possible side effects. Taking the time to research and decide if a particular interest is suitable is very important before embarking on the choice made. As in everything that affects the body, mind, and spirit, this philosophy should be followed. Even though Qigong can be practiced with information gotten from internet, books, or from other sources, taking supervised sessions from an experienced instructor is a better and more safer choice to make. There are no real side effects from actually taking up Qigong if it's done correctly, but it is possible that the impatience and changing of methods or movements, even slightly serious, could have repercussions that could unfold. Deviating from the normal Qigong practice can confuse the internal Qi, which can then bring about some unpleasant side effects. Some of the more common side effects result from these deviations are dizziness, headaches, nausea, ringing in the ears, shortness of breath, distension, and complications in the chest area. There have been cases where the individuals had to seek emergency medical treatment because of the deviations in the practice. Constant supervised sessions by experienced Qigong instructors are helpful in ordering the ligaments of the inner body structure. Going too fast through the different levels of movements can also cause problems like tiredness, headaches, unbalanced feelings, or aggressive or euphoric states, all of which are unpleasant and undesirable, and certainly not what the individual anticipated when they decided to take up Qigong. With the presence of a trained and experienced instructor, a student's posture, movements, breathing, and mental state can be corrected instantly so as to not affect or confuse the flow within the body system. It would also be prudent to pay attention to any changes that occur after starting a few sessions of Qigong. Both in China and the United States have hosted conferences for academic exchanges of Qigong exploration. Qigong has been demonstrated to better posture and respiration, induce the relaxation reaction, and induce favorable changes in blood chemistry, and better self-awareness and concentration. Research indicates that Qigong might be beneficial for asthma, arthritis, cancer, cardiovascular disease, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, headaches, pain, and a broad assortment of common ailments. External qi healing is good for the same range of illness as acupuncture. So thank you for listening, and there's some pretty good teachers on YouTube that can show you a few moves to get you started. If you are integrating any kind of healing or plant medicine therapy or ketamine therapy, some of these practices can help with the integration, especially if you have some solid healing sounds to accompany that. Anyway, thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.
While I make every effort to broadcast correct information, I am still learning. I will double-check all my facts but realize that medicine is a constantly changing science and art. One doctor may have a different way of doing things from another. I am simply presenting my views in the form of entertainment that will be as evidence-based as possible. I welcome any comments, suggestions, or correction of errors. By listening to this podcast, you agree not to use this podcast as medical advice to treat any medical condition in either yourself or others. Consult your own physician for any medical issues that you may be having. This entire disclaimer also applies to any guests or contributors to the podcast. Under no circumstances shall Michael Pierce, or any guests or contributors to the podcast, or any employees, associates, or affiliates are responsible for damages arising from use of the podcast.